Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. First of all, you guys know the drill. If you guys would please smash that like button, I'd really appreciate it. Because leave a comment down below. I don't care what it is. It super helps the channel out. Now it's Tuesday afternoon. We're shutting down the shop. We're about to go home. But I just wanted to give you guys another quick little update on the auto repair side of things. I finally had a few hours to get over to this Nissan Xterra. Now I purchased this Nissan Xterra from my stepdaughter, and when she got it a few months back, she actually started having some issues with it, and she decided that she didn't want the car anymore, so I went ahead and purchased it from her. We detailed it up. It does have a little funk in the way it runs, so we have been trying to diagnose that. I haven't had as much time as I've wanted to do the true diagnosis, but I did know that it has been neglected for years and years and years, and that it was time to do full service and maintenance on just everything. So I just went ahead and dived into all that. So we went ahead and removed the intake here. We removed the plenum. We went ahead and replaced the NOx sensor. And we also replaced the coolant temp sensor in the sending unit as well. We did spark plugs. We did distributor cap, the rotor. We did new wires. We did, of course, new gaskets on the plenum, the intake gaskets as well. And while we were in there, we went ahead and replaced the valve cover gaskets, one on each side. The other valve cover is underneath this intake port. So we did those. The driver's side valve cover gasket was leaking quite a bit, making quite a bit of mess underneath the vehicle, as well as dripping on the exhaust manifold, creating a little bit of a burning smell and causing it to lose a little bit of oil over some time. So we also did a new air filter. While we were in here, we also took out the fan shroud. We did all the serpentine belts. So we did the power steering belt, alternator belt, and air conditioning belt, all three serpentine belts. We went ahead and did the timing belt. We did a new tensioner, and we did the water pump while we were in there. And also I had several hoses. Pretty much every coolant hose that I touched was pretty much just toast. So every coolant line, including a couple lines that were in the back here, a big hose that was under here, the PCV valve was replaced. Also the PCV vacuum hose right here was replaced. We had some different clamps. We did the upper radiator hose. We did the lower radiator hose. We did the thermostat. We did the thermostat to lower radiator hose as well. We did pretty much just about everything. We drained the motor oil, did a synthetic oil change with filter. We did all new antifreeze. You can see here, I do have the refiller up here at the top. We're gonna go ahead and get this thing started. It did fire up. I did have to do a little adjustment on the distributor, setting it at the top dead center. I am still having the issue that we had previous to all the service, which I was pretty confident that I would. I was going to check the fuel pressure with the fuel pressure tester, but I went ahead and decided that it was time to service the fuel pump anyway. So we went ahead and just threw a new fuel pump in there. And so that's all good. Everything's working good from there. We did get it started again, but it's still just running a little bit funky. Not sure what's going on, because it does kind of cut in and out of running good and bad. It does kind of have like a sputtery feel. I do have a feeling it could be distributor related. We could have a bad distributor. I did get it to the point where our NOx sensor and our coolant temp sensor engine codes have gone away, and they are staying off, but the car is just not quite staying running very long on its own. It does kind of die. You kind of keep having to turn it on and off. Kind of have to kind of keep throttling it a little bit, but it does run a little bit sputtery. So I do believe that we are having a distributor problem. You can see here I still have it a little bit loose, so I can hit this with a timing light and get it dialed in. But if I could just keep it running long enough to do that, we'll go ahead and do that, of course. But everything looks really good. Came out super clean. We already did a full detail inside and outside of this vehicle. It has been sitting in the shop for about a month now, so it is a little bit on the dusty side. So once it's running top notch, we will get it back outside. We'll pressure wash it one more time. We'll clean up the engine compartment just a little bit more. It'll look brand new. And we'll vacuum the inside, give it a good coat of wax, and we'll be test driving this a few days to my place in Big Lake. Probably, just to make sure everything's running and operating just fine. And then we'll get it listed for sale. I already do have a couple people interested that are potential buyers, so we'll see where that goes. Not too worried about if it doesn't sell for what I want, which I'm sure it will. Looks like I'll have a really clean, good running Xterra, But we're not going to stop just there, guys. We also got all 4 shocks for the front and rear. And I'd like to do a transmission service. So we're going to change the transmission filter as well as the fluid and probably the rear diff fluid as well. And we also have a brand new set of tires for the front and rear. And after that, we'll go drop it off at alignment. But first things first, before I do any more work and any more services, I do want to get this thing running right. So we do need to figure out the issue. So I have started diagnosing the issue. The problem is, after I've done all the repairs that I have, just trying to make sure that the issue isn't 2 issues and making sure that I didn't do something wrong when I was in there. So I am double checking, like I said, all my timing, checking all my TDC marks, stuff like that, making sure everything's plugged in correctly. And so far everything looks great. We are just fighting the same issue that it had previous to coming in. So I was kind of hoping it magically kind of fixed itself. Maybe it was something simple, and it still could be something very simple. And I'm confident we'll figure it out soon. I'm sure I'll let you guys know as soon as we do figure it out. But I have a very good feeling it could be our distributor problem itself. And if that's the problem, then it's an easy fix. It'll take about 10 minutes to throw in a distributor in here and set it to top dead center. And yeah, we'll go from there and continue the rest of the services, get this thing cleaned up, get it out for sale, and get it off my lift, and we can finally start our next top secret project. I cannot wait to reveal it to you guys, but I'm not ready to reveal it to you guys because we're just not quite there yet. But we could potentially be just a couple of weeks away from revealing the next top secret project. Last year and into this year, we did build the Fast and Furious Volkswagen Jetta. So if you guys haven't seen that, click into our channel's playlist, and you will see at the end of this video a link also to our Fast and Furious Jetta playlist. And go check those videos out. Car came out absolutely amazing. We're getting ready to get it out for car show season, car meets and stuff like that, and of course get some awesome content with it. But the weather just hasn't been quite good enough yet, but we are getting there, guys. On the detail side of things, we do have a 2013 Subaru WRX. This is the hatchback model, and this is a beautiful car, guys. Lots of performance modifications, as well as some cosmetics. This thing is sitting on full airlift suspension, fully adjustable. You can see here we have some Perrin heat shields. We have some upgraded intercoolers, charge pipes, cob intake, stuff like that. We have lots of little carbon fiber bits and pieces on the front of this thing, including the side skirts. He does have some aftermarket wheels. They are getting repaired right now, so it does look like this thing's sitting on the stock wheels. Beautiful blue color right here. This thing came in, it actually had a bunch of carbon fiber pieces. That's why the spoiler is missing and the hood is missing. They're inside the booth. I'm going to show you guys that here in a minute. But you can see here, it's got an exhaust system, rear splitter. Thing looks absolutely awesome. He just put in this roll bar. You can see there, he has a GoPro mount. So that is really cool. I love the powder coated white finish. Very nice work. It looks like he cut his interior panel just perfect and put a little trim piece around here. So very, very nice work. Nice install. Inside, he's got a lot of carbon fiber bits on the dash, including the stereo surround, e-brake handle, shift knob, steering wheel. The OEM seats look amazing. His WeatherTech floor mats, super clean. You don't see too many of these cars very much anymore, at least around here. So it's kind of exciting to get one of these in the shop. He does have this OEM Subaru wind visors. And I'm gonna grab the key because one of the things that I thought was pretty cool when I started this thing up was his steering wheel. I'm just gonna start it up here for a second. But you can see here, as you throttle it, these sweet LED lights. Just a really cool wheel, very integrated. I thought that was pretty cool. So we're gonna shut that off, but I just wanted to show you guys that real quick. You can see here, he's got his airlift controller. We're not gonna mess with any of his settings, but it is pretty cool that he has all that at the touch of a button. But I just wanted to show you guys that real quick. Now, on the Body side of things, Sean has this 2017 Toyota Highlander in here. We've had this in and out a couple different times. It's a super big job. We had it up on our new frame pulling machine, and we did a couple of different pulls, and we are getting very close with this, guys. We just kind of did a final fitment for the taillights and the rear bumper. We are fighting a couple spots a little bit, but this is a very, very difficult job. But you can see here from an initial look of things, it's starting to look like a car again, guys. I don't know if you guys saw this thing before. This thing was totally creamed in the back. To tell you the truth, I'm super surprised the insurance company wanted to fix this thing. I know these things still retail pretty high, so not too surprised, but this was thousands and thousands of dollars worth of damage. Close to about $15,000 worth of damage. So a little bit surprised that they are fixing this, but we are gonna look in here. I'm gonna release the new latch here. We're gonna pull this thing up. Of course, it doesn't have the lift supports on yet, so I gotta hold this one-handed. But you can see here we have an OEM rear hatch from Toyota with about $5,000 worth of parts from the Toyota dealer that were delivered. You can see here we have our rear bumper fascia just kind of clipped into place lightly, just mocked up. And you can see here we have our rear body panel, check screwed in. And we also have this section right here as well. So it's kind of like the left-hand part of the rear body panel. That was pretty tweaked, so we are gonna have to do a supplement on that. But that was put into place as well. This side was salvageable. We were able to salvage the trunk floor itself. It had a hitch receiver on it, so luckily it did appear that we were able to save the floor, and it did work out. So I'm just gonna hold this here. But you can see here, we have a closing and opening hatch. So we have made a lot of progress on this. We do have a little more work to do. We are fighting our taillights, not quite lining up, and they are sitting just a little high, definitely a little higher on the left side than the right side. This gap is pretty good, but it does kind of proceed out a little bit, which is also making the taillight stick out. We definitely need to get to the point where these taillights are sitting pretty flush. And the gap here seems to be good, even on both sides. And we are just a little bit tight yet on our taillight here. I'm not sure if there's a little bit of adjustment on these taillights he hasn't done yet, but he did just mock these up before he left. But our gap here isn't bad, but we do seem to be sticking out just enough to make these taillights stick out. And we're just a little bit tight on both sides. So I do think we need to get in here with the Porta Power ram and try spreading these quarter panels apart just a little bit more. To get the reveal to look how we want it. Our bumper fitment's looking good. Honestly, at the end of the day, by the time this thing has paint on it, it's gonna look like $1 million. But we do want to make sure before we do any welding, you can see here, we just have it pinch welded in place. Before we do any welding, we wanna make sure that our gaps are looking really good, because once we weld, there's no going back, at least very easily. So there you guys have that. This thing's looking very good. We're super excited to get this back to our customer. We have been keeping our customer very updated with the whole process, as well as the insurance company. And so far, so good. So I think a little more work on this, we'll be ready to weld. We just got to get our gaps looking a little bit better. And I think we'll be ready to go ahead and start welding and get this thing into paint. So inside the spray booth, this morning, first thing, we had these things mocked up. And I went ahead and jumped in here and started clearing. You can see here, this is the hood from the WRX. And basically, a lot of these carbon fiber companies don't put the best clear coat and finish on their panels. So this one, we did sand back down because it was starting to get a lot of faded spots, and not too late to save it. But we did go ahead and sand it down and put a nice high quality clear coat on this. Hood came out awesome. We got a couple little nibs. We'll probably go ahead and do a little color sanding and buffing, take care of those nibs. And I think this thing's gonna look great for years to come. He also had some brand new Sebun carbon fiber fenders. Now, fresh out of the package, we went ahead and just clear coated these. And you can see here, they look pretty freaking awesome. Nice carbon fiber fenders. And he's even got the lower sections as well as the emblem block off plate as well. And then here we have our rear spoiler. This thing was in really rough shape. That's the bottom. For the most part, everything came out pretty darn good. We do have a couple spots, unfortunately, here that just didn't quite take, and they were just too far gone into the carbon fiber, and the sun had kind of damaged the carbon fiber finish as well. So unless he wants to actually replace the spoiler here, that's about as good as he can get. We can either paint this, we can wrap it, or he can replace it. But as far as refinishing, this is about as good as she's gonna get. I'm sure he'll be plenty happy with the outcome of this. But tomorrow we'll go ahead and throw the hood and the spoiler back in place. We'll do a little cut and polishing. We'll cut and polish the rest of the spots on his fenders. We'll go ahead and wrap those back up for him in his bubble wrap. And we'll let him know it's ready, and maybe by tomorrow afternoon, he'll be ready to come pick these things up. So there you have it, guys. Just wanted to do a quick little update before I head out. I want to thank you guys all for rocking with us. We've gotten lots of supporters, lots of subscribers in the last couple of weeks alone. We've hit about 200 subscribers just in the last like 14 days, and that is absolutely amazing. You guys seem to be watching my videos. I'd appreciate any feedback, any questions, I'll always answer. So if you guys have any questions, leave a comment down below. We have lots of content to come. Car show season, car meet season, rally season, adventures are on the way. The new project will be revealed as soon as we finish this Nissan and get it out of the way. We will be pulling in our next project. So I hope you guys are excited. This is definitely going to be very different. We haven't done anything like this before. We haven't seen too many other channels do anything like this before. There are a few other builds out there that are kind of similar, but as far as what we are doing, I haven't seen too much like it ever before. So it's gonna be very much different. You guys like the Fast and Furious Jetta, so if you guys haven't yet, make sure you go to the playlist section and find the Fast and the Furious Jetta replica that we built and check those videos out. We have lots more content coming with that car, plus the other cars as well. So like this video, leave a comment down below. If you guys haven't yet, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one. Rah.
Ooh, like LeBron, though, or like Bonzo. Ooh, I'm a baller, yeah, shot caller, yeah. They love me, you can't touch me, nah, can't trust me. I'm too lucky. Look at me, look at you, what you see, what you do.